Thanks a lot for coming and doing the interview.
No problem.
It's funny, I'd planned all these questions and then we've just had a chat before rolling about your interest.
Cocaine?
Right, so this...
Maybe we'll do this.
The amount of times I'm saying to my assistant Louise, I don't want to do that.
We could get the ethics about this right. 51% of you doesn't want to do it. You would be pleased if you did do it. Because it gets that little extra boost.
Yeah.
That's helpful. You have to have some appreciation for your own weaknesses. You need to be extroverted, for example.
Yeah.
So and assertive.
Yeah.
That's really worth knowing. This is a moral imperative. But then if you have someone else come along and say, no, you need to do it, then the 49% of you that wants to do it all of a sudden wins.
Nothing wrong with it and it doesn't make you a bad person and you're not selling your soul. All right then. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I'm bursting now with...
Woohoo! Right. Well, that's exactly it. The winds of fate. You need a meaning to sustain you through life, and most of that meaning is actually to be found in hookers and cocaine. Well, there's no downside. We should be just as happy as we can be. Shouldn't we just be happy all the time?
Damien Hirst, Tracy Emin, Picasso, Warhol, all very commercially savvy artists who you could argue till the cows come home if they're better or worse artists than others. That's subjective, isn't it? They embraced the commercial side of art. I used to be an artist and I had to buy the cheapest canvases with the cheapest paint and the cheapest tools because I had no money.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to maintain my artistic purity. That's no moral victory. You're not selling out because no one wants what you're doing.
I went through art school.
Yeah. That's like a fatal impediment.
People don't get this, sorry to jump in, people don't get that Mother Teresa was basically a money launderer. They just don't get this. A lot of her money came from Robert Maxwell and hookers. But she would take money, she didn't mind where it came from, and then she would do her work. My favourite band is Radiohead. And Tom York is like the antithesis of that. And as soon as we're big and well known and number one, I want to do picking fag butts off the floor and going down KFC and licking people's fingers for food. We're trying to balance these paradoxes and ironies.
You know, there's something interesting about how your brain works. You have a whole bunch of ideas and you let almost all of them fail. Well, we could do this, we could do this, we could do that. Here's an opportunity, here's another opportunity. Hyper enthusiastic.
It's like you are describing my soul here.
Yeah.
I forward in like an arrow.
Bang your head against the wall until it's bleeding.
The paradox again, I'm obsessed by the paradox in everything.
It's very stressful and you have that motivational impetus. And you've hit that acceleration point where you need some constraints on your egotism.
Yes, in a way that's the old creative artist side of me.
There isn't a lot of difference between visual artists and cocaine growers, but it's so interesting to think about that in terms of Marxist criticisms of capitalism, because it's part of that ego-inflation process. Most new ideas are stupid, dangerous, and counterproductive. A quick death is better than a slow, painful death. Oh my God, so what's the downside to positive emotion? You're going to be a lateral thinker, push in one direction, and then push against your finger with the other finger. If you're open, you see the landscape of opportunity, but oh Christ, you're going to be an implementation catastrophe. So that's the first, simple versus complex.
And to sort of continue your analogy, everything is good or bad, black or white, right or wrong, up or down, left or right.
Say you're successful and that makes you happy, right? And it might. You're a mess. Life suffering will make you bitter. And bitter is only where you start, it's not where you end. But if you have done something brilliant and original and no one knows about it and no one ever will, well, that might even be more of a catastrophe than never having done it at all.